Children of the night, what music they make.
They're all gonna laugh at you!
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
What's up?
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash you a bit.
And Final Guys is not live because YouTube hates us. So we're doing it the old-fashioned way, recording and uploading. Yay! I'm Jason Brant, here to talk The Perfection with Jack Campisi.
Howdy.
And Hunter Shea.
This episode was filmed before a dead studio audience.
That's correct. It was 10 minutes of me clicking buttons and doing absolutely nothing. So, yay, this is so much fun.
You know what? This is episode 134,000. This is our first, real catastrophe.
Actually, yeah, this is maybe our first one other than the bonus ones we did that hasn't been live, now that I think about it.
Right. So that's pretty damn good.
Most people don't listen to this live anyway, so let's just go on with the show.
Yeah. Onward and downward.
I saw you guys have a new Monster Men up. I didn't get to watch yet. Something about exorcisms.
I got to check this out because I unveil my authentic exorcism kit. And then that leads to a conversation about exorcism and possession movies. But you will, if you're not impressed with it's an authentic exorcism kit that somebody made for me. It's awesome.
Have been used by a priest.
Where do you procure an authentic exorcism kit?
From many different places. He assembled it in a box, and it's got an authentic ritual book with it.
Oh, did you buy this somewhere, or did somebody give it to you?
My friend assembled it for me for my birthday.
That's pretty cool.
You got to check it out. It's awesome.
All right.
He's the kind of guy who would know exactly what to get.
Yeah. Because when we did it, I forgot what some of the things were and made a joke that he's going to watch this and be mad at me. And sure enough, he's like, "You idiot! That's for that." We'll see.
All right, I'll check it out hopefully tomorrow. And I see you got a big move coming up here, Hunter.
I do. Literal. The sad thing is that episode is maybe the next to last episode filmed in the Monster Men studio.
You have one or two left.
Yeah,
in the old studio.
No more in the old studio. I got to build up a new one.
Where was this in the rank of you recording them that afternoon? Like, how drunk are you in this one? Compared
Well, that
to
was like the first
ones?
one, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, we were fine.
I always like trying to tell which ones were ordered in what order.
I
Ordered in what order?
pregame.
Jesus.
Yeah, I pregame a little, but I was fine.
Okay. So you're going to be out the next 2 weeks, right?
Yes, I am taking a hiatus. Said it's a hiatus for
Very
2
nice.
weeks. But I'll be back before July 4th. What is it? I think the 2nd is the Tuesday.
Cool.
So I'll be back in my new digs.
My daily blog, weekly. Shit, I wish it was weekly.
What?
Daily blog Soldiers On. We actually have 3 or 4 authors now who are all posting their word counts in every day, so it's kind of cool. Got a couple people grinding with me.
Nice.
So keeps me motivated. And I just finished the first draft of Decade, The Hunger Number 5. So
the trilogy continues.
yeah, I'm thinking 4, 5, 6 weeks it'll be out. Depends how long it takes my editor. So moving along.
All right.
Okay,
Very
you got
nice.
the drinking rules before we hit the news?
Well, yes, I can take a look. Let's see. There were drinking rules before everybody.
I have them here if you want me to just do it.
Okay, I got them. All right, Jack. If Jack says the words dark, swamp, and bug, you must tipple. If I say hand children pills, hopefully I never say that sentence. Holy crap.
Well done.
You got to drink. Jason, if you say velvet, bus, and mess, people going to be drinking. And if any three of us say China, water, or body, you must imbibe. China.
Well said.
Nothing would be finer than to be in her. Never mind. In the morning.
Jack, what news do we have to look forward to in the horror world?
Well, the first piece of news is something that our little community on Twitter has been talking about all week. So let's just get it out of the way. The Swamp Thing TV show, and this is why Sheridan made swamp one of the words.
Yeah.
The TV show Swamp Thing on the DC Universe has been canceled after one episode.
It was crazy.
That's insane.
They've recorded 13 episodes, but the interesting thing is the story has been evolving throughout the week. And today I read there was rumors of unrest between different parties in the production. Then there was a whole story about how the state of Carolina was supposed to give them like $40 million in rebates or something, and then that fell through because of paperwork errors.
I heard that, but you could just change
then
location.
Then I heard that that's not true either, and that the real reason hasn't been revealed, but that it might be that whoever it is, Time Warner, whoever owns the whole thing, might be doing bigger things with their streaming platforms and consolidating and things, and that this might be a little too dark for the way they want to go. Again,
what a shit
this
show.
This is all speculation though. So the fact is the show's canceled, but nobody knows exactly why.
Has a show ever been canceled after one episode? I mean,
oh yeah, but not like something like this.
But I don't mean a pilot that they shoot the pilot and then they don't pick it up. I mean, they shot the whole thing, didn't air it, and we're like, now we're done. What?
Yeah.
I did hear rumors of Netflix and some other platforms maybe circling it. So we'll see. I don't have DC Universe. I am pretty lukewarm on Swamp Thing. If it appeared on a platform that I already had, I would care. As far as I know, unless this pops up somewhere where I don't have to pay to watch it, I just laugh and move on.
It was the only DC thing I wanted to see.
I said this on Twitter. These are the people who tried to CG out a mustache in Justice League.
Yeah, I know.
Keep that in mind.
That was a good point.
Whoever is pulling the strings has no freaking clue what's going on at any given point. That's the only thing I can assume, because the dumpster fire continues over at DC.
It's sad.
Okay.
Make mine Marvel.
The next piece of news. Sigourney Weaver has confirmed that she is going to return to Ghostbusters 3 as Dana Barrett.
Very nice.
There is no Dana, only Zool. So that's good news, I think. And now that has led to pretty much, I think Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, and Ernie Hudson are going to also be involved. And while I'm happy about that, I'm happy that this is set in the original universe. There's also a little part of me that the more nostalgic and winky it gets towards, like, oh, here's a cameo, the cheesier it can get. So I'm very excited about this movie, but with a little hint of reservation as to what it's actually going to look like when it's done.
I am a giant Ghostbusters fan, so I've been looking for Ghostbusters 3 forever. And while this isn't really Ghostbusters 3, it's in the universe, so I'm happy. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of talent behind it, unlike the last one. So, yeah.
Is it going to be the old gang, the surviving gang?
Yes. But they're not the stars. It's about new kids or something like that.
Oh, Christ. Sure.
So, yeah. I mean, do we really need to see Dan Aykroyd's gut swinging around while he's trying to use a proton pack?
They wait long enough, they can be the ghosts.
The cameos in the last movie were painful. Bill Murray in the new Ghostbusters.
I couldn't get through the last movie. I just couldn't do it. I was watching it thinking, did anybody watch the first movie before they made this? Because this is a disgrace. So, all right.
I would love to see Rick Moranis show up.
Please. That'd be amazing.
He's retired forever.
All right.
He really is. He gave up acting.
The next piece of news, this kind of fits in nicely kind of with the Swamp Thing news. So, you know how Hellboy was remade and flopped?
Wow, did that flop.
Well, Netflix is planning a Hellboy TV show with an all-new cast.
What?
Okay.
Yep.
Already?
Yep.
I don't think any of the movies ever really did well financially.
No, but the first two, the originals, are beloved movies. And
I love the first two.
I don't know why they don't just go and finish that trilogy. So now I don't know. It's going to be a complete reboot.
Well, they can't finish it now.
because
Guillermo del Toro's too big. Selma Blair has MS. It's a mess.
I don't understand. So when I saw they were doing the remake, I thought maybe they're going to go some darker direction and kind of cut out the humor and do just a completely different movie. And then I saw the first trailer. I'm like, it's the same thing. I don't understand why they didn't just do a third movie. I mean, did any of us even go see it? I didn't.
No.
I honestly forgot it had even come out until you said that it flopped.
I was astounded that they would. I'm not surprised that they're doing this. It's just I'm surprised they're doing it so quickly. You'd think they'd give it 4 or 5 years and then be like, Hellboy. Oh yeah,
Right.
this seems a bit soon, but
I'll watch it when it's on TV.
Yeah, well,
who
check
knows?
it out.
So that's it. There's no other information yet. Just that. So that's all the news is fit to print.
I don't understand. We can't get Swamp Monster Massacre, but we're getting 2 Hellboy iterations inside of a year.
Hey, and we could get 1 season of Swamp Thing.
1 episode.
Why would Netflix take Swamp Thing?
I-
Do that and then do Hellboy after that runs its course.
Let's talk about what we watched.
We have such sights to show you.
All right, I have quite a list, so I'm going to go first, but I'll keep my numero uno short because I got a longer thing coming up about it. I watched a Steven Seagal movie called Attack Force. For So Bad It's Good.
Oh my God!
It was supposed to be Steven Seagal against aliens, but when you watch the movie, it is not. It's just Steven Seagal against some kind of drug that changes people's DNA. And within the first 5 minutes, his voice is dubbed. 50% of his dialogue.
What?
Yeah. Literally from sentence to sentence, one sentence will be dubbed, the next one won't. It's not just across scenes. It's amazing. So
that means he recorded that movie and never went back for the looping afterwards.
It's like, fuck it.
So we looked up what the deal was because this makes no sense. We can't, why would you do this? Apparently this was shot to be an alien invasion movie. And when the filming was done, the producers were just like, no. So they recut it and dubbed it to change the story. So it could just be a regular heist thriller drug thing.
That's awesome.
At the beginning, when it's his own voice, he's doing this weird Southern twang thing. And then he just dumps it halfway through the movie. I think there was only 2 fight scenes in it with him, because that's why you watch a Seagal movie, right?
Yeah.
Nope. He is so fat, he just sits the entire movie, except for 2 fight scenes, one of which was maybe 10 seconds long. And then there was a scene where he's just standing, delivering dialogue, and he's huffing and puffing so loudly that the mic is just picking it up. And they never edit it out. So it's a gem, man.
That is awesome.
So we got a deep dive coming up.
I got to see that. Where did you watch it on, like Amazon or something?
I got the DVD on Amazon for like $2 or $3, something like that.
So it's not streaming.
No. I had to get the DVD. It's it's so poorly constructed at the beginning. It wants to tell you they're in France, right? So it doesn't say the city, France. It says France, Europe. It's just like, it's unreal. It really is. So Attack Force, Steven Seagal.
There's a review calls it flat out unwatchable and egregiously shoddy.
It was bad. It was bad. You know, the story about, what was it? Shit. The Apocalypse Now, where at the end he's looking up and they think it's this great performance from, what's his name?
Marlon Brando.
And it's just because he was reading his lines off the papers that were above him.
Yes.
In the first half of this movie, Seagal is just looking at the table he's sitting at. I swear to God, he's doing the Marlon Brando and just reading his lines in a Southern accent for some reason.
Hey, give him props for being able to read.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah,
it's priceless.
So, all right, Attack Force.
That sounds amazing. I got to see that.
Hunter.
All right. Well, because I'm working full time and I'm not doing that, I'm renovating one house and packing another. I had time for one movie. One.
Ooh.
I watched it with my wife and my youngest child, which was the wrong child to watch this with. More on that later. We watched The Lost Boys,
Yeah.
Good
the
movie.
1987 vampire flick starring the Frog Brothers, and just all cool shit, man.
My favorite performance ever is in that movie.
What's your favorite performance ever?
The ponytail saxophone guy with the hip
Oh.
thrust.
Mother effer, man. I was creaming in my jeans.
He's the best.
My daughter at one point gave me a look like she didn't have to say it. I could like, was this sexy in the 80s? Was this a thing people
Oh, yeah.
like? Because I'm creeped out now. The thing I say it's the wrong daughter because when I saw this movie with my girlfriend and I said to her, when I get married and I have a daughter, her name is going to be Star, and if the woman I'm with doesn't like that, she can go take a hike. Lo and behold, that woman is the woman I married, and our first daughter's name is Star. But we did not watch it with Star. So we watched it with the other one. But that's fine. Look, this movie holds up. This movie is still a blast. When I watch, I love Near Dark. Like those are my two.
Mhm.
I love those two favorite like 80s vampire flicks. Near Dark drags in large spots. Really drags. There's no drag in this movie. It just, man, they get to the grandpa's house and shit starts happening already. You know, as soon as they get to that.
Well, this movie balances
boardwalk.
vampire action with humor. So when there's not
Yeah.
vampires going on, you're still enjoying the movie.
Yeah, I loved because I haven't seen it in years. I'm thinking, oh, this isn't going to hold up. I named a child after this freaking movie. And then when it was done, I was like, man, I'm so glad I did this.
I love the scene in that movie where the Frog Brothers, they want to trick the guy that they think is the master vampire, and they're going to feed him garlic. And they had that whole scene at the dinner table. That scene is awesome.
Yeah. Boy, Corey Feldman never could act, still can't. Man, he is terrible.
What was the voice thing he was doing in that movie?
He did that a lot, you know.
Frog Brothers voice.
He wanted to be a wrestler and
How about
Michael Jackson at the same time.
Did the other Frog Brother ever do anything?
No.
Like it's not like go that's like George Clooney.
He fell off a lily pad. The coolest thing was at Horrifying convention years ago, two of the Lost Boys were there, drunk off their asses, and I introduced them to my daughter, and I said, "This is my daughter, Star." They were motherfucker, really? Wow! Like going bananas.
Did you meet the guy from Bill and Ted?
He wasn't there. It was the other two guys, like the blonde and the long-haired, black-haired guy. So yeah, I think one of them might have passed away recently.
Do you after you watch that movie, was that "Thou shalt not fall" stuck in your head?
That I'm singing along to every song because I owned the soundtrack when it came out. I had my cassette tape that I'd play in the car all the time. Man, I loved it, man. That was a great little trip down memory lane.
Did you think of Us in the Boardwalk? Because
I did. I said that to my wife. I said, Us was filmed there. And she goes, I didn't see Us. I'm like, oh, that's right. So this is trivia for myself.
Like
no,
Timmy.
no,
Good.
Nobody does a mullet like Kiefer Sutherland.
Oh no, that's a great
that
one.
That was another thing. I had to hear my daughter like ragging on the mullets. And I'm like, your dad had a mullet just like that. And he married this broad right over here with that mullet.
Mullets are powerful stuff.
They weren't mullets back then. It was just hair.
Hair.
Yeah, like Timmy Capello, the long-haired, hip-thrusting, baby-oiled man, I still believe in the Lost Boys. That song, I still believe, always gets in my head.
Ooh.
It's a good movie.
What
do you got, Jack?
Sexy.
So I watched a movie this week that I had put in my queue a long time ago. I've been meaning to watch it, and I finally pulled the trigger. There's Jack the Ripper movies are few and far between. And I'd watched Hands of the Ripper a few weeks ago. We all know From Hell. I watched Murder by Decree, which is a 1979 movie. Sherlock Holmes hunting Jack the Ripper. Christopher Plummer plays Sherlock Holmes. James Mason plays Watson.
I'm going to catch you.
This is right around the time of Salem's Lot. And Donald Sutherland is also in this movie.
Ooh.
Now, naturally, me watching this movie, the first thing I do is my 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. I do 6 degrees of Salem's Lot, and I go, wait, James Mason is Straker in Salem's Lot, and Donald Sutherland is Straker in the remake of Salem's Lot.
Oh,
And here they are together. So this movie, it's probably around 2 hours long, was not as good as I was hoping it was going to be. But it's very interesting because if you watch this movie, you see, again, kind of like I was talking about how the old Dracula from PBS was the blueprint for Coppola. You could see this fingerprints all over From Hell. It's kind of the same general story, but not done with kind of the edge that From Hell has.
no one was chasing the dragon.
It's hinted at like once.
Mm.
But Christopher I was expecting a lot more from Christopher Plummer as Sherlock Holmes. He's kind of bland, and that was kind of the problem with it. He's like kind of trying to be charming. And I kept thinking, where's General Chang from Star Trek 6? You know, he's very subdued. So it wasn't the best movie in the world, but I'm happy I watched it, and it was some of the things just it's 1979 movie, so there are just some effects and things like that you just have to laugh at how poorly they executed some things in a movie like this back then, and some other stuff that you're like, oh, that was pretty cool. So I'm happy I watched it, but I was a little underwhelmed by it.
Is that on Prime?
I paid to watch that, I think, on Prime.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're going deep on the 70s movies lately.
That's because there's nothing good new.
There ain't nothing good in 2019.
I've been going to the 70s for most of these, but I've been hitting a lot of 80s and 90s lately. Like my next one, Wishmaster.
Been meaning to watch this one.
Had not seen it since I caught it in the theater back in, was it 97? 97. But I've always held this in high regard because of the crazy gore effects. So I thought, my buddy was here. We just done So Bad It's Good. He wanted to see something crazy he'd never seen. Like, oh, Wishmaster's a crazy movie. Popped it on. The opening of this is so great. They're back in ancient Egypt or wherever the hell they are. And
yeah, that's right.
He just puts a curse on all the people there. The guy says he wants to have a party no one will ever forget or something like that. And it just, skeletons are coming out of dudes' bodies and running around. And it's just amazing. And then from there, the movie just slowly descends into crap.
It says, hey, it's the 90s. The bar is low.
Oh, I was even digging the 90s aesthetic. You know, you can see like the colors are, there's like a 5-year period where they were using cheap film in a lot of these, and it just looks cheap. But I have a nostalgia for that. So I'm like, this is great. I'm loving this. Oh, hey, it's Robert Englund. Oh, Kane Hodder. Yeah, Rachel Bannister. They did a great job with that. The effects amazing at the beginning. And then the deaths were just trash for the rest of the movie. I don't know if they ran out of money. I don't know what the deal was, but it just really lost its steam. And in the very end, it kind of bumped back up a little bit. There was a couple cool kills at the end, but not nearly as cool as I remembered it being. Not that I hate it, but it really does not live up to that intro. And it kind of reminded me of Ghost Ship. You ever seen that?
Oh, yeah.
That money opening, and then the rest of the movie, nobody remembers.
Ghost Ship has one of the best beginnings of all time.
Is that with the wire?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's amazing. This is the same way. I always fondly remember Wishmaster, but if you had asked me before this weekend what happens in the rest of the movie, I couldn't have told you. Just like Ghost Ship. And there's a reason, because it's not interesting.
So
how many Wishmasters have you seen?
Only the first.
Oh, I think I've done 4 of them.
I don't know if I've ever even seen the first one. I remember when it came out to video, we may have rented it but turned it off, or I may have fallen asleep because I don't think I ever made it through the whole movie. So I've been thinking about revisiting it because I've heard mixed things. Some people are like, oh, it's the underrated movie that nobody thinks about anymore. And so I was like, I maybe I should check it out again. So should I go check it out or should I leave it be?
I mean, I would check it out just so you could at least see the beginning, because it really is great. It really is great. And like I said, it's not a terrible movie. It's not what I remembered.
It has an all-star horror cast. It's produced by Wes Craven. Yep. Music by Harry Manfredini from Friday the 13th. And narrated by Angus Scrimm.
Yep, Angus Scrimm.
Just for that,
Ted Raimi's in it. I mean, everybody is in this, for 3 lines. But,
Yeah.
it's a cool one to go back to. It's just, it's one of those that 10 years from now, I'll sell it to somebody else as, oh, this movie's so crazy. You have to see it. No one's ever seen this, and it's a gem. And then we watch it. I'm like, yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not bad though. I like it. I like it.
You have anything else, Jack?
I do.
All right.
Actually, I watched something inspired by you, my friend.
Oh, all right.
I watched the probably the worst named movie ever. Butterfly Kisses, the found footage movie.
Yeah, I agree.
What?
Not like the name either. I didn't really get why you would do that.
Do they know what that is?
Yes, because so this is about an urban legend about Peeping Tom or the Blink Man, and it's an uneven movie. There's some really good stuff and there's some really dumb stuff. So this urban legend is there's this train tunnel, and if you're able to like look in the train tunnel at like midnight for an hour without blinking, the Blink Man appears. Then like every time you blink, he gets closer to you till he kills you, or gets you. But what happens is when he gets close enough to you, you can feel butterfly kisses, and that makes you blink for the last time to kill you.
Which is a cool concept. I like it.
I don't even like real butterfly kisses.
So this premise is just ridiculous in that nobody could not blink for an hour.
No, not by yourself. Like
Right.
you'd have to be forced.
You'd need the Clockwork Orange things.
Yeah.
And somebody with eye drops or something like that. So they do some things with cameras. Anyway, the interesting thing about this movie is it's kind of like this guy who's a filmmaker discovers a box of videotapes, like mini DVs, of somebody else who was making a documentary about the Blink Man. And he can't find these people. They've disappeared. So he is trying to find them, and he starts putting together the movie and completing it. So this is almost a documentary about this guy who is completing this other movie. So it's like 3 movies in one. And so there's some interesting stuff that goes in with him taking this film to people in schools and a paranormal group, and some weird cameos by like the guy who wrote like weird, I forget which one of the states it is, but one of the weird,
New Jersey kind of guys.
Yeah, that author's in it.
The guy who made the Blair Witch Project is in it for 2 seconds. There's some other cameos by, semi-famous people. The lead character in this movie is the most unlikable guy, so you're never rooting for him except maybe to get a butterfly kiss. I don't know why they didn't just call this movie Peeping Tom or the Blink Man.
The Blink Man.
It's hard to sell a horror movie called Butterfly Kisses, I think.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I'm going to watch the Steven Seagal movie twice before I watch this movie.
So I actually think a horror fan looking for a decent found footage movie, you should definitely check this out. It's a pretty good movie for found footage. It's got definitely some moments where you roll your eyes and go, that's a dumb found footage thing. But in terms of doing something new and different, I think they do they take a hard swing, as I like to say. So it's not a great movie, but it's a notable movie and fun enough to give it a watch. And I think it's on Prime or something.
Yeah, I think it's on Prime. No, I agree. The movie was clearly made for nothing. I mean, it clearly made for nothing. And they do some pretty cool stuff with the cameras, I thought. The premise of being able to hold your eyes open for an hour, you can't do that. But it turns out in the movie, they couldn't do it either. They had to kind of figure out a way to get around it. So it's just one of those movies that I like finding these directors, these filmmakers who can do something with nothing, and it's not a pile of crap. It's like, it was enjoyable. So I dig it. It's way better than Attack Force. I'll put it that way.
Is it better than the latest Bad Ben movie?
Oh God!
God, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm
you
telling you,
like it. It's good.
The worst thing for it is the name, and then you watch the trailer, and the trailer is just okay. Then you watch it, you're like, wow, usually like the trailer's great and then the movie disappoints. This is
Right.
the opposite. Like it's a much better movie than the marketing.
All right.
leads on.
I put it on my list.
It's not bad. It really isn't bad. Yeah, the name, it's one of those that you watch the movie, you're like, okay, I get why you name it that, but it's going to be a hard sell for your movie. Look, I named a book Gehenna because it had to do with the book, and that was the worst freaking thing I could have done. Nobody knows what the hell that means.
I can't
So-
say it.
It crushed me. So I get it. I get why you would do that. You just don't do it twice.
No.
All right, I watched Bad Dreams on Shudder.
Oh.
It's a movie I'd never even heard of. You guys heard of this one?
Yeah, the girl from Nightmare on Elm Street 3 is in it, isn't she?
Was that what I recognized her from?
The drug addict girl. Want to get high.
Oh,
What a rush.
Okay, I was like, what do I know her from? And the lead guy from Reanimator's in it. He plays a doctor.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about.
I don't remember anything about this movie. I just
Yeah, Richard Lynch is in it. It's actually a pretty good cast.
Bruce Abbott.
Bruce Abbott. Okay.
Yeah.
This came out in '88, and it said it had a cult in it. So I was like, hey, I like movies with cults. So I thought, what the hell? Never heard of it. It's basically this. I think she was 13. This 13-year-old was in a cult, and the cult leader burned all of them alive in the house one day, and she's the only survivor. And she goes into a coma for 10 years, 12 years, maybe it was 13 years. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. And she wakes up and starts seeing the cult leader again. And crazy things start happening to her. They're keeping her in a mental hospital since she just woke up and can't cope or whatever. And things start going crazy. I really enjoyed this for a movie I'd never heard of from the 80s, which is one of those rare gems that you kind of stumble on. I had a lot of fun. The beginning had me. The middle meandered a little bit, and then there's a freaking dream sequence. I hate goddamn dream sequences. But the end came back a little bit. The tone shifted at the end, and I think your enjoyment of this will be if you like the shift of the story and the tone at the very end. If you go with it, you're really going to like it. If not, it's still a pretty decent movie. So, yeah, there aren't that many 80s movies, I feel like, that I haven't seen at this point that with this kind of cast. So anytime I can find one and enjoy it, it's a home run.
It's been a while. I mean, I think I probably saw it in the 80s. So that's worth the revisit. And Roger Ebert gave it half a star. So that to me is like 5 stars.
So you'll probably like it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the greatest thing. I mean, there's a reason I've never even heard of it, but I enjoyed it a lot more than I even expected to. So
that came out like right after Dream Warriors, if memory serves me.
This was her banking off the glory of
because
that.
it had a Nightmare on Elm Street like name, and so you were like, "Oh, is she doing like a ripoff of Freddy?" There was nobody knew what the hell that movie was about.
All right, I got one more thing. I read The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson.
Oh, that freaking hack.
Oh, is that a new book?
Yeah, yep. I'd never read
Released?
it, to be honest. So I thought, what the hell? I got an audiobook copy of it and thought I'd sit down and listen. This is not as good as I expected. And I know that's going to get me a ton of hate.
Woo!
It was incredibly well written, as everything I've read of hers is. The characters were fantastic. Not much happens in the book. I was not expecting that.
It's all subtext, you mother effing Luddite.
It totally is. It totally is.
Yeah.
I just was not expecting that. I thought there'd be, ghosts. I thought there'd be,
Right.
things of that nature. There's nothing like that. So it took me off guard, but I still liked it. Don't get me wrong. It's just not what I was expecting. So it's a different kind of.
You can really
haunted house
appreciate
story.
what Robert Wise did when he took that source material and made that movie, because that movie is astounding.
That was kind
original.
of my reference point that I was expecting.
Yeah.
So
Check out her book, We Have Always Lived in the Castle. That's creepy.
I'm working my way through her stuff. Like I said, she's great, and her characters were in this were just outstanding.
There's a new movie of that with what's her name, Alexander Daddario.
Really?
Yeah.
The Haunting of Hill House.
No. We've Always Lived in the Castle.
Oh,
Really?
oh, she's in it. I'm checking it.
And what's his name? Sebastian Stan's in it. It's on pay-per-view on Amazon right now.
Oh,
It's got Alexander Daddario, so
Yeah, we should check it out.
yeah, that sounds interesting. Okay. I'm done. You guys done?
I'm done.
Spent.
Let's jump into the perfection.
Oh,
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
Because we're gluttons for punishment, we thought, hey, another Netflix original horror movie. This can't be disappointing. Let's check it out.
it's because we're lazy.
And so we have, it's true. And so we have The Perfection. Jack, help me out.
I'm not going to say much about the synopsis of this till we get to spoilers. This is about a exclusive or elite school, music school, and Allison Williams plays a world-class cellist who was the prime student there, but then had to leave the school because of personal illness in her family. And then she returns years later, and there's a new
Ingenue.
cellist, and they form a relationship, and then a lot of crazy stuff happens in this movie. Logan Browning, is that her name?
Yeah.
The other girl, and
A lot of vomit.
yeah, and I don't. If you have not seen this movie, stop. Even though we're not going to do spoilers for the first part of this, don't even listen to this. Go watch the movie and come back, because the less you know about this movie going in, the better.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to talk about this without spoilers.
Yeah.
So, very nice. Hunter, what did you think?
All right. I started this movie. I didn't know anything about it. So I'm like, I'm going in blind. Let's see what they have. I'd heard through the grapevine some good things about it. I said, all right. But I didn't delve deep. When the movie started, I'm like, all right, this looks capably made. It's got some good actresses in here. I pull out my book for where I keep track of the movies that I'm going to refer to as best movies of the year. And then 20 minutes later, I put the book right back in the shelf and say, you're an idiot. I mentioned there's a lot of vomit. If you don't like watching somebody vomit up stuff constantly, you can't watch this movie. My wife just can't take vomit. Almost had to bail immediately.
Yeah, it's a good 10 minutes of constant vomiting.
Woo, and vomiting with things in your vomit, like bugs and shit, and whatever. This movie, I will tell you this. If David Cronenberg made this movie, it would be awesome. Because there's body modification. This is especially once you get towards the end, I'm like, oh, wow, this is like a Cronenberg wet dream right now. But it's just not handled as deftly as it. Ultimately, it had the ultimate, the worst thing it could be is boring. And to me, it was just boring. And I was like, I could care less. I would have preferred watching someone play perfection for an hour and a half by the time I was done.
All right. Jack?
I totally disagree with you. I thought this movie was a blast.
That's awesome.
And you start watching it and you think it's one thing, and then it's not. And then you kind of can figure out a few things that are going on, and then nope. Even though you figured out one move ahead, 2 or 3 moves ahead, go nope. And then there is perspective changes that happen that reset the board. The first couple of times that happens, you have to get used to it because it's jarring.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is Hunter and I are a perfect example of this. I think there are people who are going to accept it and be on board for it, and other people who are like, nope, I don't buy this. I think this is going to be one of those polarizing movies. For me, I love the fact that I kept guessing, where the hell is this movie going? It kept getting more bizarre. I think the 2 lead actresses crushed this movie. They were both awesome. Allison Williams has this innocence about her and can have underlying menace. She did it in Get Out. She is fantastic in this movie. I thought there's so much she can do with a glance, and you're never sure about what she's up to. I thought the other girl was also spectacular, and so I don't think this is the best movie I've ever seen, but I enjoyed this. For a sit down and watch a movie and let it unfold, I had a blast with it.
I heard on Twitter that I heard two things about this. I didn't know anything about the story. I heard people were pissed off about the vomiting because, like you said, people who can't handle that apparently really struggled with this movie. And Sheridan was telling me how much he absolutely hated it. It turns out I loved it. I loved this movie. It ended, and I just thought, holy shit! Nothing I expected to happen happened. It just I had three separate plot twists. One at every like the end of every act, something changed. It changed main characters a third of the way through, which really kind of threw me off for a while. But I dug it. I thought, you know what it reminded me of was an episode of Tales from the Crypt, where you're going to get some weird story stuff. You're going to get some crazy scenes that you didn't expect. It kind of had that feel for me. And I dug it. Yeah, the main characters were great. Any movie with Steven Weber, I'm in. Love Steven Weber. So, and Steven Weber's dong. Maybe save that for spoilers.
His blurry dong. Yeah, that is definitely a spoiler.
So yeah, I dug the hell out of it.
Okay.
I mean, I won't deny there were very good performances in this. I think there were great performances, great acting in this. It just, I don't know. I wanted to go to another level that it just didn't go to, but that's fine. Not everyone can love Mother.
It's true. I feel like we should go to spoilers sooner rather than
that's
later.
what I was trying to say. I think we ring the bell now. You got our overall impressions.
Oof, early bell.
And then listen. We can't. You can't give anything away. I'm doing it.
Give him a hand.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I mean, really, with 3 separate plot twists one every 30 minutes, it's really hard to talk about this without giving
twist.
The trailer gives away too much.
See, I don't watch trailers anymore, so I didn't even know. I literally don't watch them.
You know what? There's something funny as we're watching the movie and the girl's feeling sick, and Allison Williams is saying, let me give you some like aspirin or ibuprofen or whatever. My wife she goes, oh, that's a prescription bottle. That's not some freaking aspirin bottle. I was like, what? And then later on, I'm like, oh, she's right. I thought
the pills looked weird, but that was it. I just thought, oh, they just got weird looking pills. No big deal.
Yeah.
So when did it lose you? Was it the first, right when the hand chop happened? Is that when you started losing interest?
Shortly after that, I was like, oh, I don't care anymore.
When they did the rewind,
oh, I love the rewinds. That's filming for dummies. It's like, all right, you moron. We laid it all out for you. Let's rewind it and show it to you again. No, the movie just didn't grab me. It might have been my mood at the time or whatever. It just didn't get me. There's cool stuff. I like the vomit. I like chopping hands off. I like kind of like weird revenge. Love lesbians. Like there's a lot to like.
When that scene happened, I literally said, Hunter's going to love this movie.
You sure did.
That is 2 good looking lead actresses.
Yeah. Why you put a pillow on your lap?
I will say the one thing I don't want to say I really didn't like, but was kind of hard for me to swallow is you're trying to save this person. So you have them cut off their dominant hand. Couldn't we go with a finger? 2 fingers?
Yeah. There was definitely a way to do this.
I thought about that, but I think they were trying to make a point of you were at such the pinnacle of your industry that the only way to snap you out of it was a shock that big. I think you had to go with that. I think cutting off a finger wasn't going to be enough. And I felt the same exact way. And then I said, okay, I'm going to concede and let them have the fact that the spell that this school has over you is so strong that, Allison Williams had to leave the school and grow up to and she went through all that therapy and electric shock and all this stuff, to deal with it. So she knew what she had to do to slap reality into the other girl. So
what saved me from not liking that part of it and bringing me back in was the very end when you see they cut off the other girl's arm. Yeah. It's like, oh, they're all insane. Like they've all, whatever they're doing here at this school has broken all of them.
Yeah.
So like they've won and then they cut off her arm. So these are crazy people. So it didn't bother me nearly as much at that point. And that's kind of an interesting point too, is everyone in this movie is insane. Everybody. They're all freaking lunatics. Yeah. You don't know it, but they're all lunatics.
Well, those
Yes.
girls ultimately, I think their ultimate goal was to be conjoined so they could play together,
I really like that end scene.
which is that was a great scene. And I'm like, that's Cronenberg. Would have killed it.
Yeah, when they showed Steven Weber sitting there, I was like, damn.
That ending had Cronenberg, and there's a handful of other movies that have pulled this kind of stuff off with the body mutilation or whatever you call it, modification. And again, to use a term I overuse, they took a huge swing with that ending, and I think for the most part, they landed it. Like they nailed it for something that is very difficult to execute. Think of that last 25 minutes of that movie. They could have lost you, and there's a little bit of hokiness and a couple of things, but the brutality and the twists that keep happening, and they're pretty quick with what they show, so you don't have time to go, oh, that looks stupid or whatever. They kind of show it, you get the shock value, and then they're out.
Right.
So
Yeah. I mean, we almost had a fisting scene with a stump of a wrist. That's how crazy this movie was getting towards the end.
Yeah.
I loved that, because that was what I kept thinking to myself. This movie is making people uncomfortable. From the you were talking about the vomiting at the beginning and the bugs and all that stuff. I thought all that stuff was awesome.
I did too.
And then when you got to that scene, I'm just like, oh, what is a normie thinking of this? So many people are going, oh, a new movie on Netflix.
They're canceling Netflix.
Because the guy I work with, who is totally, his favorite movie is like The Internship with Owen Wilson. And he heard us talking about this. I was recommending this to somebody, and I looked at him, I go, no, you don't even want to look at this movie. And I guess his wife's family knows Allison Williams or something, or his mother-in-law does something. I go, I don't care if you know Allison Williams, you don't want to watch this movie.
No, this is not normie friendly at all. I do find how, I don't want to say polarizing, because I haven't heard a ton of people say they didn't like it, but the people that didn't like it really didn't like it. Although you seem more in the middle, but like Sheridan seemed to not dig it at all.
I'm in the middle. It didn't get me. That's all. But there's a lot of good stuff in it, so I acknowledge that.
Yeah, the hand thing was shocking when the cleaver came out. I'm like, what's happening? I don't get it. And then it just was off the rails from there.
See, they show that in the trailers. They show her pull out the cleaver and go, well, you know what you got to do.
Oh, no way.
They do. So I knew that was coming, but it's still kind of, it didn't ruin it for me, but I wish I didn't know that was going to happen, because the whole time I'm watching Allison Williams, I know she's going to do that.
Yeah. See, I thought they were just
that
buddies.
Sucks.
That's terrible. God damn it. Freaking trailers, man. I'm telling you.
No, I think I only watched like half the trailer, and then I watched the whole trailer like yesterday, and I'm like, oh, wow. The part I turned off, I probably wouldn't have noticed it because they cut fast, but they do show way too much.
It's so frustrating. Surprised they didn't just show Steven Weber's Wang in there.
Ooh, then it definitely would have been on our list.
So we're watching that, and my wife's like, is there a prosthetic or something? Because when he rounded the corner, it was like Bad Ben, the third Bad Ben. It was like, what in the hell?
Well, it's blurry. It probably is a Boogie Nights prosthetic.
It was like,
imagine
what
if it's blurry in real life.
It's bad surgery.
I'm going to be on botched.
That ending with the two creepy, well, I guess his brothers, I guess.
What was that? Ugh. That was rough.
I'm telling you, I was watching it. The first time they did a rewind, I'm like, okay, what the hell was that? And then I realized, I'm like, okay, this is, and now the rest of the story. Kind of thing. So like that. But every time, like you said, you just when you thought it was this kind of movie, they turned, and you never knew where the two stood. And so I just enjoyed it. Again, if I probably went back and watched it again, I wouldn't give this movie a 10. It's not perfect, but but as far as just sitting down and enjoying a movie as it unfolded and getting shock value, getting a kick out of some of the stuff they did, the tension when they have the little girl in the room when she has to play this song and he's put his hand, that tension was spectacular in that scene. So like I said, I turned it off going, wow, thoroughly enjoyed that movie. Like, this is the second week in a row I watched a Netflix movie that I'm like, wow, I really enjoyed that movie.
Do you think this will be in your top 10, top 13 list?
As of right now, it
with
is,
the way things are going.
Oh yeah, as of right now, it's my top
I think
5.
even without it probably would be, because I really liked it.
That's saying something.
I don't know if it would have made it last year, but last year was an anomaly. Yeah, that word too, because we had so much good stuff. But maybe, I mean, I really did enjoy this. I really did. Were you able to predict, Hunter, any of the twists at all? Just out of curiosity, because I was not, and normally I do pretty good with that stuff.
When the hand cutting scene happened, I already knew she was fucking with her on purpose, so I didn't think. Because didn't they mention? Wasn't there a background thing talking about some virus happening?
Yes.
Yeah, when they came down the stairs, the guy throws up.
I thought so. So, but I was like, I don't buy that. I said, this girl's fucking with her somehow. And when my wife pointed out the pill bottle, I was like, oh. But that was about it. I try not, when I watch a movie, I try not to do that. Try to, oh, this is where it's going to go next. I just try to just sit there like a big, dumb blank slate, let it all come.
I was just curious if you were able to predict it and that's why you didn't like it and I wasn't.
Oh, no.
That's why I did.
I couldn't predict where the hell that thing was going.
Yeah, if you'd have been able to call it the last shot earlier in the movie, I would have been blown my mind, because
I was taking some massive pharmaceuticals with Joe Rogan to figure that shit out.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me, like I said, that Tales from Crypt episode, particularly the one with was it Danny DeVito, where he's dating the two twins and they end up cutting him in half at the end, so they can each have half of him.
Yeah,
yeah. It reminded me of that because it got so disturbing by the end of it.
It definitely had that kind of horror anthology ending. Like, it was more like a TV show shock ending.
See you next week.
Yeah, not so much a feature film ending. Yeah, something that people aren't going to be super pissed off they spent money in the theater for.
Right.
Maybe that's why they could get away with it on Netflix. I don't know. So anyway, anything else you guys want to add?
No, I say watch it if you're ready. Hopefully, if somebody hasn't watched it and they listen to this conversation,
it's girl on girl horror.
Those two, I'm telling you, I'm an Allison Williams fan now. The last two things she's been in, I thought she was so good in this.
Yeah, they were both outstanding. Really was good acting the whole way around. So,
hell yeah, I agree.
All right, well, if that's it, Hunter, we'll see you in 3 weeks, I guess.
Yeah, 3 weeks. See you in July.
I'm so glad you're good.
You know what? This is my fucking Christmas gift to you. A little early.
Can't wait. And Jack, we were talking earlier. We don't really know exactly what we're going to do next week, but we'll hopefully
we'll post it on Facebook and Twitter when we figure it out.
We'll narrow it down soon. Shouldn't be too long. Not like there's a bunch of great shit coming out.
Yeah. If the Dead Don't Die comes close to us, we're going to see that. But it's the limited release, so we may not. So we'll see what happens.
Damn it. Alrighty. For the final, guys, I'm Jason. We're out of here. Hunter, see you soon.
Bye.
Game over,